Hello, everyone. Today, Ashish is not there. He's on vacation. He'll be sharing his stories of travel when he'll be back. So he'll not be available this weekend and next weekend. Uh, so we have different speakers. And hello everyone. First of all, let's see who all do we have, and let us know from where you are joining. Bangalore. Wow, cool. So while everyone is joining, will anyone would like to take a guess of who the speaker is for today? So we'll be having three tracks as usual. The first track would be on the networking, the second track would be on the tech track, and the third track will be a bit on the hands-on activities. And today, like, as Ashish is not available, uh, he is on vacation, so we have different guest speakers taking through the networking track and the technical track. Hello everyone. Hey Pawan. Pavan, I think you should be able to guess who the guest speaker is. You have been attending BESA sessions, the previous ones. So today's guest speaker is one of the previous BESA participant. Any guesses? Cool. You got it all almost right. Yeah, it's Parna today. So let me add Parna to the stream.
Hey, hi
Parna, you're
everybody. Hi Prasad.
hey Parna. So Safantic. Yeah, no problem. All the sessions are uploaded on YouTube, so feel free to have a look. Yeah, I understand that it's Saturday and it's not feasible always for everyone to be coming. It's, yeah, so it's completely fine. And as I said, like Ashish is on vacation for this week and next week. So we'll be having different speakers covering. So, Parna, how does it, look to be on this side of the table? I know you have been a very regular BESA participant, and congratulations, on your journey to become AWS technical trainer at AWS. So how does it look to be on this side?
Uh, it's exciting and daunting at the same time. It was easier being the participant, but I'm really excited and I feel really privileged to come on the other side. And this is giving back, right? This is truly giving back. So I have gained so much from this community, and I think it's time to contribute back. So thank you so much for having me here, first of all. And yeah, it's awesome, I will say. Just my bit to give back to the community now.
No, thank you so much. Thank you so much. And like we have already been seeing you helping so much on the chat, anyways. So it's good to have you on the screen presenting. So yeah, without further ado, let us start. So Parna, I will hand it over to you.
All right, everybody. So I'll just go off camera so that you can focus on my slides. So I hope everybody can hear me clearly. And today we are going to be talking about some networking tools that we have. So we'll be talking about VPC flow logs as well as reachability analyzer. I'm sure some of you must have already heard about it. So these are really useful tools. So when it comes to traffic monitoring or troubleshooting, these tools come really handy. So let's start with VPC flow logs. So what are these flow logs really? So it's a tool which will help you to monitor or check for your security analysis, detect any kind of misconfigurations. What about latency, right? We could have some latency related issues in your traffic. You're going to have some intrusion detection that you would want to do. So any kind of suspicious activities that you need to peek at and you need to troubleshoot to improve your network performance, that's when you're going to be using VPC flow logs. So prior to VPC flow logs coming into the picture, what AWS customers would do is they would be installing agents on their EC2 instances, probably having a process to collect, store, and analyze these workflows, right? And it was really cumbersome and it gave you limited view of the network flows. But after flow logs came into the picture, it really helped the security teams, the network teams, to get visibility into your network traffic that is moving in and out of your virtual infrastructure. So, what is it? It's a single source of information to monitor your different network aspects of your VPC. So, we've all heard about border control, right? So, every border, you can think of it as a ENI or a network interface, and we want to see what is going in and out of that traffic. So in order to do that, we can enable VPC flow logs. So VPC flow logs is not enabled automatically. You need to opt in for it. There are different levels at which you can opt in. You can opt in for it at the VPC level or at the subnet level, or if you want to gain granular visibility at the ENI level, you can do that too. Obviously, you're collecting these logs. You need somewhere to store them. Where can you store them? You can store them in CloudWatch groups, log groups, or you can choose to store them in S3 buckets as well. So these are ideal destinations that you would choose. Next, I'll talk about some of the features that we have. So what are the features? So these records that we get, these records are of all the ENIs within a subnet or within the VPC. If we enable it at those levels, you can look at this information via two consoles. So you have the EC2 console, or you can look at it via the VPC consoles as well. So like I said, these are not turned on by default and there is a cost associated to it. So you need to opt in if you want to use them. Plus, once you publish them to the S3 buckets or to the log groups, you will be paying for that storage as well for data collection. One thing which is very important, that most people have this myth, that will it affect the latency and the throughput of my traffic if I'm going to be collecting my VPC logs? So the answer is no. It is collected outside the path, right? So it does not affect your network or throughput or latency. Apart from that, once you enable it at the subnet level, you will get all the ENIs covered at the subnet level. Similarly, if you enable it at the VPC level, all the network interfaces will be covered for monitoring there also. There are a couple of different types of records they'll be recording. I will show you some examples. I'll even share a link with you so you can dive deep and look at it. So there are two types of records, the no data and skipped records. These also will be collected. So what are these? So no data meaning, so if there is no traffic which is crossing over from the network interface during the capture window. So we will be configuring a capture window, or I'll call it a aggregation time window, which will be 1 minute or 10 minutes. I'll show it to you when we see it on the console. And within that time, if there is no data crossing over to and fro, then we'll also get a record for that. Plus, we'll get something called a skipped records. So what is skipped records? So there could be such a huge flow of log records which cannot really be captured in the window because it's exceeded the internal capacity. So in that case, we'll get something called a skipped records as well. And the most important thing is, what happened to the traffic when it crossed over? Was it ultimately accepted or rejected? So this is called as an action. So your record will also show that. Okay, so once I show you the examples, it will be more clear to you. So when I'm setting up my VPC flow logs, I will be asked whether I want to go with the default settings. So in default settings, you can see there are some standard fields that will be present in your records. However, you can be picky and you can choose also. So there are customizable options and you can pick these fields as well. Next, how will you do the troubleshooting? So now you have your logs, right? Next, what will you do with them? Obviously, just having them is not enough. You need to investigate, make good use of it. So what I can do is, say I'm delivering all these logs to CloudWatch Logs, and then I have something called as CloudWatch Insights. So some of you must have already heard of it or tried it out. So you can run queries in this raw data and get some kind of information. You can investigate, get very granular kind of queries you can run on them. So this is one way of troubleshooting. The other way you can do it is when you're storing your logs to S3. And as you know, you can query into S3 using an interactive query engine called as Athena. So very useful. So you can query using that, and then you can get some kind of insights by visually looking at it in QuickSights. So these are two ways you can use VPC flow logs. Of course, there are plenty of other ways too, but I'm just demonstrating you two of those. Now, what does the log actually look like? So this is what you typically see. You would see your account number, okay, ID over here. The interface that you are monitoring, you'll see the ID out here. The source IP address, so this is the private IPv4 address of the ANI. Similarly, you will see the private IPv4 address of the ANI for the destination as well. You're going to see the ports of the source and destination protocol, as well as the packets that are being communicated from one to another, the number of bytes. And of course, we have a capture window, right? We have a window during which we are capturing the data. So it will show you the start and the end time. This is in Unix seconds. One of the most important fields is the action field. So remember I told you what was the final action? Was the traffic allowed to get through? If it's allowed, then it will show as accept. So this will be determined by your security groups or your NACLs that you're going to be setting up. So it's going to be an accept or a reject. I'll show you a couple of examples now. So over here you can see an example where I'm trying to send some kind of SSH traffic to my ANI out here, okay? And this is my account ID. So you can see the account ID over here, the ANI, the source IP address, the destination IP address, okay? The destination is at port number 22, it's an SSH. And finally what happened? It got accepted, okay? So it was allowed to go through. Next example is when traffic is being rejected. So over here, we are looking at a ENI. The ID is given here. This is your account ID, source and destination IP addresses. And I'm trying to do a RDP call over here. So you can see the appropriate port number 3389, but it was rejected. Hence, I see a reject. The third type that we have is no data. So remember I told you that it could be possible that during the capture window, no data was actually crossing your ENI. Right? So we will also have records for that and it will show as no data. So why would I use some of the use cases for VPC flow logs? So I'll speak about three of them. There are plenty of those, but these are the common ones. So you have actually set up or configured your security group, but they landed up being highly restrictive, right? So the traffic that you're intending to reach your instances, they are not doing so, right? So whenever you have some restrictive security group rules and you want to diagnose what's the problem, this is the good way of doing it, right? Using your VPC flow logs. The other use cases that we have is when you want to actually just generally look at the traffic. We just want to monitor the traffic which is reaching our instances. Okay, what kind of traffic? Just a general overview. So this is a use case for that as well. And the third common use case I would see is if you want to just look at the bidirectional traffic which is crossing your interfaces, right? What is allowed to get in and what is being allowed to get out. And based on that, probably you'll decide how to be strict with your knuckles or with your security group. You'll probably go and polish it up further. There are, of course, some limitations also. So I'll be talking about some limitations. So it's not that everything and anything can be done. There are some limits to it. So if you have enabled your flow logs for your VPC and it has a peering connection to another VPC, right? Then unless the peered VPC is not in your account, you cannot enable flow logs for that one, right? Another thing is, once you've created your flow log, you cannot go and change the configuration. Meaning, say you want to go and add some new fields. You can't do that. You'll have to delete it and create a new one. Of course, your logs will not get deleted. Only your flow log that you've just created, the configuration will get deleted. The logs which were already ingested and archived, those will not get deleted. One thing that people generally ask about is, like, I want to know the original IP address. Okay, so what happens is, say you have traffic coming in from a load balancer to an EC2. So it will show your traffic original source IP address of that of the load balancer. But you want to know the source of the packet, right? IP address of the packet. In that case, you can add fields such as the packet destination and the packet source address. This will give you the original IP address. Okay, so it's time for a demo. I'll show you a demo, but I'll just run you through the steps before that. So say I want to enable my flow log at the VPC level. So all I need to do is go to my VPC console. I'll choose the VPC that I want. Once I've chosen that, I'm going to click on create flow log. I have couple of settings that I need to do. Now remember, I need to deliver my log somewhere. So I should have already created a CloudWatch log group. Okay, kept it ready to accept the logs. Plus, I need permissions, right? So I need to give permissions to my VPC flow log service to write into my CloudWatch logs. So I need to have a role created for that as well, because it will ask me for that. Okay, so I need the role created, plus I need a destination setup. It will also ask me to filter whether I want to look at only accepted, only rejected, or all my traffic. I can be very particular about that. I can customize that too. And of course, finally, my capture windows or the aggregation interval that can be set to 10 minutes or 1 minute. Okay, so these are the steps. I'll show you some screenshots, then I'll take you to the actual demo. So this is what it will look like. Really simple. You give it a name to your flow log. You'll filter it. If I want to see all my traffic, I'll select all. This is the aggregation window. So it will be collected every 1 minute or 10 minutes. Now, one thing to note is this is not happening real time. Apart from the aggregation window, additionally, you will need 5-10 minutes until you actually see it in your logs. Okay, so if you are looking at real time traffic, then this is not the one, okay, because this will take a few couple of minutes more to show up in your logs. Thereafter, you're going to choose your destination. You can either choose it to be your CloudWatch logs or your S3 bucket. All right, and this is what I was telling you about. If you're going to be choosing your CloudWatch logs, ensure that you have created a log group to accept these records. Okay, so you'll create it and keep, and then you can choose from the drop down here. You will also have a role created. The only permission that you'll need over here is to allow you to write into your CloudWatch log group that you just created. So those permissions will be needed. So make sure these two are already done. And finally, what format? Do you want the typical fields to be available, or do you want to customize it? So you can pick and choose from the custom fields as well. Okay, so let me show you on the screen now. All right, so what I'll do is, let me just zoom in a bit. Okay, so I'll be going to VPC. So I have a couple of VPCs in my account. So for this particular VPC, I'm just choosing it. And if you see this tab over here, flow logs, this is where you can create. So I have already created one and kept, but for the first time, you will not see anything out here. Okay. Until and unless you create a flow log, you will not have a flow log automatically. So what happens exactly when you click on this? So you'll see those exact screenshots which I showed you earlier. You're going to be choosing a name for the flow. You're going to filter it based on what you want. You can choose your capture time, also the destination. Now you have some more options as well. You can have Kinesis, Firehose. In case this is real time data, you would want that also. And again over here, destination, role, as well as the format. So this is your default format. If I go and click over here, you will see the other options as well that you can choose from, right? All right, so that's all you have to do, and click on create flow log. So I have one created already. So this is the one I've created. And you can see over here, I've specified a CloudWatch log group where I'm going to be collecting it. Also, I have a role created. I'll show you the role. It's a very basic role, not too much to it. This is my destination. Okay. So I have a CloudWatch log group created. Since I had enabled it some time ago, so it's already started collecting data for all the ENIs which are covered within the VPC. So you can see there are n number of ENIs and it's already started collecting the logs. I'll show you what's inside each of them shortly. First, I'll run you through the role as well that I have assigned. So I had to assign a role to my VPC flow log service. So I'll go to roles. So this was the role that I've associated with it. If you see in the permission, it is a very basic permission. Let me just zoom in a little. So it's just giving it permissions to create the log stream right into the log stream related to CloudWatch. Okay, very basic one. And I also need to establish a trust relationship or a trust policy. Who am I giving this permission to? I'm giving it to my Flowlog service. Okay, so Flowlog service has this permission, so it will assume this role and then starting the logs. Okay, so that is for the IAM part. All right, so these are the logs. Now I'll show you what's there within the log. So if I just pick any one ENI, you can see it's already collected. So some of them have been accepted. Some of them there are no data. If I go into the other ones, there might be a few rejected as well, right? So this is what your data looks like. So if I just click on one of them, this is exactly the way I showed you. So if I copy this and I show it to you in Notepad, right? And I'll just zoom in a little, right? So this is the account ID. This is the ENI that it's crossing over. Source IP, destination IP. This is the source port number. This is the destination. So it's a HTTPS request that came in. The number of packets. This is the time duration, start time, end time, and finally it's got accepted. So this is what it looks like. All right. Now, what is the use of this without me doing any analysis? So I'll just show you, demonstrate some kind of analysis that I can do, or querying investigation. So I can go into insights, right? And I can pick which log group. So I'll choose my log group that I had. And in the last, say, I'll customize it because I had a lot of things that I did in the last 24 hours. So I'll pick my start time and I'll pick my end time. Sorry, it's 23rd and my end time is 25th. I'll apply that. So this is the generic query which is already there. If I run this query, you will see it has picked up and queried, and it is giving me these fields, only these 4 fields. But you can see it's discovered all these fields. Automatically, it's discovered all these fields. If I want to add some more, say over here, I can add some more. Say I want to know my, let me pick up, say my protocol, right? So that is not there. So I can add that and query again. So I'll have that also added, right? So you can see the other field has also got added. Apart from that, there are some queries, common queries that you can run. You can, of course, go and customize and make your own queries. I'll show you some common queries which are already here, sample queries, which you can directly use. Now, say I want to see the top 20 source IP addresses from which I got the highest number of rejects, right? I can click here, apply. You can see it's automatically pasted that, or I can write my own queries. Okay, this is just showing you which you can directly do. If I run my query, I'll wait for it. Okay, so it's showing you from which source address the highest number of rejects I got, right? And you can dive deep into the details as well. So in the similar fashion, there are a couple of other queries also which are here. So I'll just do one more. The top 15 packet transfers, I can either copy paste it or I'll just apply it. Once I apply it, it's automatically come here and I'm going to run my query, right? So I've got my data here. Once I've got my data, I can go and export my results also. I can download them and then I can even add them if I have a dashboard created. You can create dashboards in CloudWatch. You'll soon, in our next track, in the technical track, you'll get a lot of insights about CloudWatch. So you'll come to know about dashboards there. And I can go and add this information to my dashboard as well. So you'll be able to see it there. All right. So this is about VPC flow logs. Let me go to the next one now. So the next topic that we are going to cover, just give me a minute. The next one we are going to be talking about is the reachability analyzer. Okay, so what is the reachability analyzer? So I need a tool where I need to troubleshoot connectivity issues, right, between a source and destination resource within my VPC. Are they able to talk to each other? Are they able to communicate with each other? I have configured something, but I need to verify that, right? Is it matching my intended connectivity? So all sorts of questions like that, if I want answered, this is the right tool to use, right? Here I can easily specify the source and my destination, and it will tell me whether they are reachable or no to each other. If they are reachable, it will also show me the entire trace or the path, right, from source to destination. Every hop it will show me. If it is not reachable, it will even tell me what could be the probable cause. So I'll get a root cause for that as well. Yes, this is also chargeable. So you're charged per analysis that you do between a combination of source and destination. You will be charged for it. So a common example will be I have resources or I have instances in across two subnets. I want to check whether they are able to communicate with each other, or is there a NACL or a security group or a route table which is blocking the communication. I can check that. So this is one kind of thing. So when I said that it will give you the exact trace, so this is what your trace will look like. So right from your source instance to your destination instance, so these are the instance IDs, you can see it is showing you exactly the path. It's crossing over the ENIs, crossing the security groups, crossing the NACLs on the way out, going on to another security group, passing that, and finally entering it. So you can see this entire trace, right? So that's a really powerful usage. So obviously nothing is more important than a demo. So let's see how this really works. Before I show it to you in the console, again, I'll just show you some screenshots so you will be more familiar with what to expect. So you want to know whether you can go from a start location to a destination location. So obviously you are going to choose your source and your destination. Next thing you're going to do is you're going to analyze it and you're going to come up with the analysis. You can see that I ran an analysis and it showed me they are reachable. Okay. So between my source and my destination, they are able to talk to each other. So what is my use case? So I want to troubleshoot any connectivity issues. So I have misconfigured something. I would have got here unreachable. Then I would have instantly realized there is something wrong that I've done in terms of configuration. Let me go and first see what is the root cause that the analyzer is telling me. And then I can deep dive further after that. All right. So these are a couple of use cases. And if it is reachable, again, it's going to trace me the entire path. So similar to what I showed you earlier, this is called as the analysis explorer. So once the analysis is over, you can click on it and see the detailed part of it as well. All right, so let me go and show you the demo now. So back to my console. Just give me a moment. I've just got logged out. Okay, so it's coming up. Okay, so I'm going to be looking out for my reachability analyzer. Okay, so currently you can see I do not have any paths to analyze. I'll need to create a path. So I'll create a path. Before that, I'll just show you a setup so that you know that what am I trying to test. So I have a VPC setup. Okay, this VPC, lab VPC, has two subnets. Okay, it has a public subnet and a private subnet associated with it. Okay, and it has EC2 instances in each of them as well. Okay, so I'll go back here. Okay, so let me try out paths 01. First, I'll try out between an instance. Okay, so say I have an instance, the public instance that I had made. I click on that and I want to see whether it's able to talk to my internet gateway. Okay, so I'll say internet gateway and I'll pick lab internet gateway. I'll keep everything else constant. So ideally, they should be talking to each other. They should be able to communicate, right? So it takes a few seconds. I'm going to keep refreshing it until I am able to see the reachability status populated here. Okay, so few more. Okay, so this is taking a little long. Okay, so it is reachable. Okay, so thank God for that, it's reachable. So that means my instance in my public subnet can talk to my internet gateway. Okay, if I want to look at the details, you can see that's given me the details, how it is going via you can see there's a route table also. So if you remember, when we are setting up our public subnet, we add a route to our internet gateway. This is what it's showing that. So you can verify that it has worked, right? I will also show you another one where it's not reachable. So say path 02, and I'm just being random. I'll just choose an instance, say from the same public subnet, the public instance, but this time I'm just going to choose another internet gateway, okay, not this one. So it should not be reachable ideally. Okay, so let's see what it does. So you can check between instance to instance also. It's not that you have to do between an instance and internet gateway. Okay, so we will wait for the analysis to happen. Let's go to the main screen. So you are being charged per analysis that you're doing. Okay, so I have two parts that I'm analyzing here. So I'll be charged for both. Couple of seconds more here. It's a real test of patience, isn't it? Okay, so it's not reachable. Okay, but that's not it. I can further look at the details, and it should actually tell me the reason. Destination is not reachable. See the explanation below. Okay, so it's really smart enough to tell me the query is in this VPC and my destination query is in the other VPCs. Obviously, the VPs are not connected, so they cannot talk to each other. All right, so it's giving you so much detail as well, right? So that's great. So it's telling you also disconnected VPCs. This is just more programmatic way of showing it, and this is the English format. All right, so that brings us to the end of our demo. That's all I have for today. I hope you found this insightful and you'll take away some learnings about VPC flow logs and reachability analyzer. So don't just leave. We have some great things ahead also. We have CloudWatch, and one of my team members is going to enlighten you about that as well. So thank you so much. Over to you, Prasad.
Thanks, Parna. Yeah. So let me also add, Jamila. Thank you so much, Parna. This was really insightful. Even I, a few things. Even I was learning. I've not played a lot with networking and stuff. That's not my
Right.
forte. So thank you so much. That was
Most welcome.
insightful.
Sure.
Let me also add Jamila to the stream. Hey, Jamila.
Hey Prasad, hey Prana, good morning everyone. How are you all doing?
Hey, Jamila.
Thank you so much, Prana. It was an amazing session. I missed like the first 5-10 minutes, but then I joined and I was like, damn, so much information I need to learn too. It was really
Oh,
cool.
I have someone else joining from his vacation. Hold on.
Oh, Ashik, hello.
Hello everyone. Sorry for the noise. I'm at airport and my flight is delayed, so I thought why not learn something from all of you. So thank you for having me. I'll mute myself. There is too much noise here.
That's all right. Thank you for
Thank you
joining,
so much
Ashik.
for joining in. I'm sure
Yeah,
everybody
exactly.
must be missing you.
Amazing to see you, Ash. Enjoy your vacation, man. You
Enjoy
Yeah.
your
deserve
vacation,
it.
man.
Don't have
Have
to
a
join
You
great break.
in.
you deserve it actually.
Yeah.
Cool.
Cool.
So, Jamila, I'll let you take over now, and yeah, talk
Mhm.
about few things and introduce our next speaker.
Sure. Let's. I'd like to introduce Giuseppe, who is my colleague. We're working in the same team. Um, Prasad, can you please let Giuseppe in? Yay,
Hey,
Giuseppe!
Paul. Hey,
Good
hey, Jamie. How's it going?
morning. How are you?
Oh, all good, all good. Super excited to be here. The Beza program. Thanks for having me.
Of course. Thank you for joining, and thank you for all your help in the background and aligning what to present, how to present. We really appreciate your help. Yeah, I just wanted to kind of give a quick introduction. I know Giuseppe will talk through what he's doing and what is his role, but I just also want to kind of give a high overview about the startup team in the UK and Ireland, because lots of our participants are entrepreneurs by themselves. Like, they do want to start building things on their own. Maybe they have limited budget, they don't know how to start. Maybe some of them, they want to build a company, but again, they don't know how to start, what to do, where exactly they can get support from. So I wanted to kind of give a brief description what we're doing as a startup team in the UK and Ireland, not just UK, across EMEA, right?
Yeah,
And how they can get support, and what are the resources. So Giuseppe and myself, we're working in a startup team in the UK. We are working across different stages of startups, different industries, and I will let Giuseppe take over if you want to. Yeah.
absolutely. So, hey, folks. Thanks for having me. So, Giuseppe Battista here. I'm a senior solutions architect with AWS, and I work closely with Jamila. I lead solutions architecture for early stage startups and promising startups. So, in the past couple of years or so, I think starting in 2020, we funded this focus team on startups, because we want to help our customers grow and thrive on AWS. And what actually we've been putting together a lot of resources, free resources for entrepreneurs, solo entrepreneurs, Probably the best place where you want to root is one of the links that I just sent out in the chat. It's the AWS Startup Loft for EMEA, and there you can find a lot of free resources, web seminars. You can book one-on-one sessions with people like myself and Jamila, or even other solutions architects or other techie experts from our AWS partners. And so I think that's a great place to start, but also a place to find more information about all of the funding initiatives that AWS also have in place for you folks. So we have the Activate console, for example, on your AWS account, where you can sign up, and if you're a bootstrap startup, you can get up to $1,000 in credits. But if you're part of what we call the VC portfolio, then you can get up to $100,000 in credits, probably spread over I guess up to 4 years. So that's a great resource to get started and get your business up and running on AWS. And I think that as solutions architect for startups, Jamila, and correct me if I'm wrong here, but we are kind of forced to staying on the balance of like business and tech a lot, because we have a lot of relationship with the VCs, but also with C-suite kind of executives in startups, and they kind of shape us and they force us to think business first, because of course, like, startups needs to be nimble, needs to be frugal as much as possible. So this is one way that we think about it, and this is why on the Startup Loft we also have business tracks that will help you. I don't know, Jamila, the other day you were it's a competition for the best pitch. Can you tell me a bit more about it?
The competition, London Pitch competition that it was across the universities. Yeah, it was yesterday actually. So someone, very, very close friend of mine, invited me to be a judge there, and they founders from the University Entrepreneur Society, they were pitching for 5 minutes, and then for 5 minutes questions from judges including VCs, people from AWS and some other industry experts. We were asking lots of questions and we were giving feedback, of course, and afterwards there was a networking event. So it was really cool to see kind of how people can get started. Some of them they do have like a computer science background, some of them they don't, and but they have great ideas, right? And they don't know how to start, where to start. So it was a great venue as well to speak about our startup org and what we're doing, about the Loft, what are the benefits, and how they can actually start making the first step. I know Giuseppe and myself as well, we several times presented through the Loft, so the workshops and also Ask an Expert. And I've seen a couple of times in the CSAT score that we usually ask our customers, how was the workshop? What is the feedback you want to share with us? And I've seen several times BESA participants as well. So I want to thank them all for joining these sessions on the workshops, providing their feedback, and just leaving a small mark, that hi from BESA. So when I saw it, it just sparked a smile on my face that, oh, that's so nice that we have like a community that are following, that are joining, that are upskilling themselves, which is really cool to see.
Yeah, and then I guess another initiative that we have in place, and I think we're going to go live with that on I think June. It's a Twitch show which is dedicated to startups. We'll try to help you putting together your first MVP. We have a few things on the roadmap, but if you have any suggestion, please let us know, because we really want to be, in an Amazonian fashion, we really want to be customer obsessed here. And so I'll just drop another link here. This is the official AWS Twitch channel where we'll be broadcasting. And another source of good resources where we've been publishing startup resources is the Build On YouTube channel. Again, I'm just putting there a link, and this is where we're probably publishing those sorts of like bite-sized tutorials on very specific pain points that you might experience in building up your business on AWS. So yeah, I think
That's really
there's
cool.
lots that we're doing.
Giuseppe, for your Twitch that you are putting together, it's really cool, and I would really recommend everyone to join, because I'm kind of involved in the background, and I see all the hard work that Giuseppe is putting together, and also how useful it will be for our customers and for people joining and actually learning how to build a proper product live. It's awesome. Looking
Right.
forward to it.
All right, thank you, Jamila. So I don't know. I've seen some question coming up. There are some people asking about North America resources. I'm not exactly sure about that. I know that we have several lofts, like in-person lofts. I think there was one in San Francisco. But Jamila, if you're okay, I'll be blabbing about CloudWatch and observability. Can you please have a look and see if there's any resource there? But in general, I would suggest you to we have a catalog of on-demand content, and it is free for you. You can have a look at it. You can join in-person meetings all over Europe if you happen to be there. But we have I think a wealth of virtual and on-demand content that you can binge on the loft. So stay tuned there for more updates. But also, I think the most important resource there is the Meet the Expert, or the one-on-one sessions that you can book on. So you can just whiteboard with people from AWS or from our partners to understand a little bit better what the next steps could look like for your business on AWS.
Thank you, Giuseppe. Thank you very much. Yeah, thank you for all the high overview and all the details and the resources that you shared. We will put these resources in the BESA webpage in the resource section. So if you are watching it on YouTube and if you're not live, so feel free to kind of go to BESA page, get these resources, join us, and start building on AWS. I will hand over to Giuseppe to start the presentation. Oh, I see Prasad.
Yeah,
Hello.
I just thought, we can have 5 minutes break for the people.
All right.
Right, and then we will start. So
All right.
let me do one thing. Share the screen. Hold on.
We're kind of newbies without Ash, yeah?
Exactly. We are trying to just, pull it off somehow.
Amazing.
Ashish, we miss you. I know that you are hearing us, so we miss you,
Yeah.
man. But yeah, enjoy your vacation. Cool. Anyways, let me start the timer, and we'll be back in 5 minutes.
Mhm.
Thank you so much, folks. I'll see you in a
Thank
few.
you. See you
Bye.
soon.